This is the new Nanoleaf Skylight, the first of its kind modular ceiling lighting system. It's bright, it's pretty fantastic, and also the first time I gave up during the installation process and had to take matters into my own hands. Let's chat about that. And speaking of matters, the Skylight does not support matter or thread, so that alone might have killed off the whole idea for a lot of you viewing right now. But moving on, the starter pack, which consists of 3 units, the main control, and 2 extra light panels, is $250, while 1 additional expansion or add-on pack panel is $70 each. And in case you're wondering, yes, you will need the starter kit because of the main control unit. And having this allows you to daisy chain and connect up to 99 other light panels. Right now I have this light set to a really warm temperature. This is the default color that I have when I have the physical switch turned on. This is the diffuse version. This is obviously the exposed version. It's pretty uniform actually. A lot of people complain, of shadows and things like that because that's something to do with the wiring here. If you don't route it properly, it will cast shadows against the lights. I think there's like 46 or 45 LEDs per unit, and any kind of wiring like right here has caused shadows, and I'm trying to still figure out like how to properly route things around. And Nanoleaf is really generous with the number of clips that you can route cables around, so it's up to you to do that properly, and if you don't do that right, it will cast shadows. So take that for what it is. 16 million RGB CW colors, and the color temperature, if I remember correctly, is 24 or 2700 to 6500 Kelvin. And by the way, this thing is dimmable with a maximum brightness of 1400 Kelvins. And the weight per unit, and I'm talking about the main control unit with all the attachments and the lights, these things are lighter, but the main unit is about 660 grams, which is pretty decent. Lifespan, I think the factory says 25,000 hours, which I think would equate to about 2.9, almost 3 years of continuous use if you have that on. Connectivity, I talked about just now, there's no thread or matter, but in terms of just connecting and pairing this, it does your typical smart home or Wi-Fi connectivity of only 2.4 gigahertz, no 5 gigahertz support. Installation is principally straightforward. This control unit connects directly to your power supply in your home, and you just install this that way. And then there are 4 more screws on each corner for the panel itself. All of them do have that. And if you notice that I seem to be lacking screws, I'll talk more about that later. But these, by the way, are the power supply conduits. Like each set comes with this tiny cable. You just plug it in, route it through these little grommets, rubber grommets, which is really nice to have as well. It hides the cables going through in and out. And of course, we mentioned these routers, which are plentiful and available. And so, yeah, the install itself, according to the manual, it is very supposedly simple, but we'll talk more about that later on in the episode. Before we move on, it's important to note that app control for the Skylight only works when the physical wall light switch is on. Otherwise, the modem is not energized and you'll see your light as unreachable at the home screen. But anyways, when connected, the app shows your current power and brightness settings, and then tapping the Skylight icon brings you to color and temperature controls. You can also access scenes on the next tab, as well as favorites, the next one over. Now, scenes is where the fun animated stuff live. There are presets if you want to use them, or you can just build your own using a guided wizard, or even chat with an AI prompt for further guidance. Clicking the gear icon on the top right takes you to settings where you can toggle things like using a black pulse to indicate scene transitions, or set up your default power on behavior when you flick the wall switch, or even after a power outage. You can also back the settings up to your cloud, or delete the device, identify it, and things like that. Now, Discover back at the home screen below is where you can find other presets that have been pre-made by the Nanoleaf community, and this is where you can share your favorites and things that you've built to the rest of Nanoleaf users, which is really cool. And here you can search by device and also just browse as many as you want to. While the starter pack of 3 panels looks pretty clean when installed and everything, it looks even cleaner the more panels you add. When the lights are set to a certain scene, or if you use the AI generator, for example, it almost feels like you have an actual skylight, so they weren't kidding about the name. On the flip side though, when the lights are off, especially if you have an inline configuration, the squarish skylight gives off this really strong 80s fluorescent lightbox vibe. Yeah, look at it, tell me if I'm wrong. Yes, on paper, each panel is rated at 1400 lumens, which is more than half the maximum output of other single unit smart lights available today. However, let's not forget that the Skylight starter comes with 3 panels. So yeah, the combined output quickly adds up the more you add even. It definitely helps also that Nanoleaf used quality LEDs and diffusers here, and I mean, each LED, guys, is bright. The outputted colors are punchy and uniform. It is a really good light at the end of the day. For sure, it'll be brighter than most stock lighting in your house and easily better than other smart lights like those from Aqara and Govee, which also leads me to the next positive. There's just nothing like the Skylight out there right now, nothing modular or as interconnected like this, whether you're talking about physically or in the app. And it's only a matter of time, I would say, that others start copying the idea, but Nanoleaf is ahead of the curve on this one. You know, having your entire ceiling set up, being able to perform a light show of whatever color, cadence, routine, theme, and schedule that you want sounds cheesy and pointless. And I have my reservations too, guys. But yet in real life, the Skylight is actually pretty effective and not to mention fun. It's both discreet and bold rolled into one very customizable package. Maybe I was just having a horrible, no good, very bad day, but this project, guys, takes the cake as the hardest install of any home tech I've ever done, not just for this channel, but in my life. Yes. Actually, I take that back. It's not that it's the hardest because the principles are basic, but among other things, there are so many steps that require you to do upside down. It's not even funny. The instructions, in fact, recommend that you get an electrician, but I think Michelangelo would have been a better candidate here. We're talking about small washers, way too many screws, and too many holes to drill that panels can and will end up misaligned. In fact, after hardwiring the main control unit and then connecting 2 adjacent light panels and struggling with that part, I literally gave up and then I backtracked and decided to use strips of super strong 3M mounting tape instead on the light panels. And at about 700 grams per panel, it's no big deal. The tape is more than up to snuff. And guess what, guys? They're still attached to the ceiling, nice and flush. You can't really tell at all. And the tape's held up through humid, cold, and warm temperature changes for what it's worth. To me, the biggest problem here is because of the number of holes you have to drill. That's like 4 per panel, guys. How quickly and easily you can get a panel misaligned. And if you're lazy and don't fix the holes right there and then, it will snowball into the rest of your design, I'll tell you what. And really, ultimately, there's no easy solution to this and probably why other brands haven't followed suit yet. They're still figuring it out. But I keep imagining some kind of lattice cage system that you clip into the main control unit and as you expand the design, and all of which you install into the ceiling, and then there are screws on each cage where you make micro adjustments to align the panels together. Yeah? Nanoleaf really needs to look at its online buying options. There's the starter pack averaging from around $83 per panel for the 3-pack all the way down to $62 per panel for the 12-pack. Now, I think not that many of you are going to deck out your ceilings like that in the marketing images, but let's just say that you want to do that. And this is when it gets pricey and kind of confusing. After the 12-pack option, Nanoleaf does sell single expansion panels for $70 each, but you can't buy a 4-pack or 8-pack or 12-pack even if you wanted to. And here's where I'm confused. If one main unit can control and daisy chain to like 99 other light panels, why isn't there no like multi-pack expansion kits available? Honestly, I'm having a hard time deciding whether the Skylight deserves a recommend or just to tell you to wait. I mean, I'll let the more objective numbers on the screen right now speak for themselves. Now, on one hand, the mounting process is arduous and so unforgiving, especially if you make a mistake. Yet, at the same time, once you get past that, you're left with a really functional lighting system that can go from really dim to really bright like in a snap, have tons of color and scene customizations, and since it's hardwired into your house, there's no like ugly cables to hide unlike those in the back right there. Now, if Nanoleaf can bundle cheaper expansion packs together, thus dropping the per unit price, I think this thing will be fire. Well, that's all I got, guys. This has been the Nanoleaf Skylight review. Thanks to Nanoleaf for sending this to me, but in no way did that affect my honest opinion on this product. This is how we roll here at TNTT. No one's gonna tell me what to say. It's just all my personal thoughts and opinions. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not gonna babysit you guys. You know what to do. If you like this channel, if you like to see more content, subscribe, like, click all those necessary buttons. Yes, and reshare too. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate y'all. Remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because the world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love you all very much. Peace out, and God bless.